Welcome. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here, this is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take your little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about one of the hot button issues out there today. You've heard me talk about hot button issues before. It's a hot button issue out there today. People can't stop talking about how old our president is. He is an old guy. That guy is long in the tooth. And I've talked about it on this show. We're going to talk about it a little bit more today. Open up with that because that's one of the biggest things that's kind of holding Joe Biden back. Joe Biden for years has been known as the gaffe master. I talk to people about that all the time. I'm old enough to remember when he was known for his verbal missteps, his verbal mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I guess he still kind of is now, but now people blame it on him being old. Back in the day, he was just known as the gaffe master, the gaffosaurus. They said this guy is prone to gaffes. A gaffe is just a mistake that you make while you're talking. You know, usually a politician makes these mistakes. You know, something that's out of line with the, thing they were trying to push or whatever, right? So with Joe Biden, he just turned 81 a little while ago. So he is the oldest sitting president in our history. That's not necessarily a great honor. As far as presidents go, it's not necessarily the honor that you want when you're trying to get another shot, another 4 years to do that dance for the American public. It's not necessarily the look that you want, that you're the oldest president to ever have that job, or the oldest person to ever have the job of president. That's our president right now. He's 81 years old, right? So, Democrats have a problem with his age. That's a huge thing. And I've heard a lot of people on the left just say, is there anybody else we can find to run? Is there anybody else? I've talked about him on this show. I'm going to talk about him again. Gavin Newsom, governor of California. I would have loved to see him run. I don't agree with all his politics, but I think he would have been a great person to vie, for the nomination. And I think he probably could have maybe could have been president, right? But once he caught wind that Mr. Joseph Robinette Biden was running again, he fell back, which is what you do. He's a Democratic governor. You do not run against the Democratic incumbent. You don't run against the incumbent anyway, unless you trying to lose, because usually an incumbent secures that next spot. Now, it doesn't happen like that all the time. Talk to your boy Donald J. Trump. He lost his second go, right? We had 4 and then said 4 no more. No more 4. He said 4 more years. No more years after that 4 he did. Because it was abysmal and it was tragic. It was pathetic. Now, believe it or not, I'm going to talk about some things today. Well, one thing today that Trump did that was actually a plus. Some credit that we have to give him. But how about this? A broken clock is right twice a day, ladies and gentlemen. So that's that. And that's what I love about politics. A lot of times you find yourself agreeing with something that someone who you don't agree with said or is doing. So there's that, right? But with all that said, he was a horrible president. Even though he was the incumbent, Joe Biden ran against him and he defeated him, beating him by what? They said like 8 to 10 million votes. So it was a shellacking. People are saying that may not be the same this go around. Why? Because of this big piece, that Joe Biden is just old. Now, my whole thing is the only minus he has is his age. I think I said this last show. I'm going to go ahead and say it again. That's the only minus that I think Joe Biden has is his age. Once again, like I said, he's always been known as the gaffosaurus. So all these verbal missteps that he's made and makes, that's him. It's baked in the cake. When he went around talking about Corn Pop was a bad dude and all that garbage, talking about you ain't black if you ain't voting for Joe Biden. These are gaffes. That guy is not articulate all the time. He don't always talk, right? But he know what he be talking about. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? So that's Joe Biden. Like I said, that's baked in the cake. He's always been that guy who's not the most articulate guy on the planet. But believe it or not, I do think most times his heart is in the right place. At this point, a ham sandwich would be better than Trump, right? I take a chocolate milkshake. I take a chocolate milkshake over an orange buffoon any day. So that is what it is, right? But that's the only thing that I think Mr. Biden really has working against him is his age. Something he can't control. He can't control being old. He just is old. He's been waiting a while for this spot. It finally came up. It came up when he was close to being 80-something. And now he is 80-something. He's 81 years old. But he is the president. He's captured the executive office. Can he hold on to it? We'll see. We'll see. Moving on. Let me move on because when I move on, it kind of explains even more about that, right? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the orange elephant in the room, the orange elephant in the room with the bad hair job, Trump. Let's talk about him, right? Right now, he's involved in a trial, or about to be involved in a trial in Georgia. They were saying they'll probably televise it. I talked about it here on the show. That is must-see TV. Please televise that. It is in the interest of the American people to see that. We need to see it. We must see it. Please put it on TV. If for no other reason than for people here in America and the whole world to see that when we talk about America as a country of laws, we're not just whistling Dixie, right? Let's show the world, let's show America that everyone is accountable under the law. If that is the rule here in America, then we have to make sure that the most privileged amongst us fall under the law. And that'd be Mr. Donald J. Trump. So come on now, America, do what you're supposed to do. Merrick Garland, radio silence from that guy. What's up with the Department of Justice? Now, they talk all this stuff about they don't want to get involved. It looks like it's politically motivated. Trump is running out here telling everybody it's politically motivated. So who cares if people think it's politically motivated or not? If they do, they're idiots. Or just someone who's holding water for the right. Because if you got eyes, you can see the man is guilty. All the stuff he's charged of doing, he did. He's done in real time. We watched it. You watched the insurrection, as did I. I was at work. Maybe some of y'all was at the crib, chilling, doing whatever you do. But my point is, you saw the insurrection the same way I saw it. So what are we talking about here, right? Fraud, textbook fraud. The man said Mar-a-Lago was worth I don't know, $1 billion. It's worth 15 million. That's fraud. Okay, when you inflate the value of something because you seek to benefit from it, that is textbook fraud. Okay, his lawyers know he's guilty, so then they run out here on TV and just talk all this crap about the judge and all this crap about how their client is this is a witch hunt and it's politically motivated and all this other garbage, which is garbage. The man is guilty. You know it, I know it, we all know it. Televise it so that us America can see it and the whole world can bear witness to what happens when you run afoul of Lady Liberty, when you run afoul of the law here in these United States. Come on now, make it mean something, government. Seriously. All this crap that y'all do, all this crap that y'all talk, hold Trump's feet to the fire and make it mean something. If you have any worth as human beings. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about how this guy's going around doing stump speeches, talking about how he's going to exact political revenge on his enemies. This blows me away. You still have a whole bunch of, I think they said 40%, maybe, well, I'll take that back. I think 80% of the Republican Party is in his corner, if not more than that. But they said 40% of just the regular American public right now says that they would vote for Trump. That blows me away. It's that high. We have this guy running around talking about stuff that goes on in banana republics, right? A lot of times when you hear politicians in America especially want to ridicule or make fun of other places, usually places with dark-skinned people, and call it a banana republic, or, you know what I'm saying, talk about how, their elections are shams, or there is no law, and dot. That's what this guy's talking about. And they're okay with it. A lot of people in that party are okay with it. Trump is literally talking about coming after what he considers political enemies, and people are applauding that. They think it's cool. I was watching a stump speech he was doing too long ago, and he gonna start making fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband, who was targeted by somebody who got amped up politically by him, got radicalized by him. He said that. Went and attacked the man, almost killed him. Trump's making jokes about it. People are laughing about it. That's where we're at in America, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? Let me say, sidebar. This just came out of my head, but I got to go ahead and throw it on in here. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about things that I want for Christmas, right? So I get into politics. Obviously I do this show, right? I love politics. So I was thinking I want all these political t-shirts. I want to get just all types of political t-shirts, even a friggin' Trump t-shirt. I want to get an I'm with her t-shirt. I want to get a ride with Biden t-shirt. I got about 3 Barack Obama t-shirts. I got what was the brother who ran? Oh my Lord, he was Ben Carson. I got a Ben Carson for president shirt. I want to get a Swarmer one. All types of these political t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Because I get into stuff like that. I want to collect it. But then I was like, no, because a guy like me want to wear these shirts just because I enjoy politics. But these days, things are so off the hook. I'm not about to do that, because last thing I need is to be wearing a shirt that says something politically that somebody don't like, and then they start some stuff with me and I got my son with me. It could end badly for them. So I'm not even going to put myself in that predicament. But it's sad that I had to go that far with it. There's a time when you can wear a shirt, no matter what the shirt is, even if it was a Trump shirt. I don't agree with that man. I don't agree with making America great again. America was never great. How you gonna make it great again? But anyway, I'm not on that. But if you want to wear that shirt, that there was a time in this country that was fine. No big deal. Nobody would have said nothing. Oh, that's his guy. That's the guy he supported. Maybe he just gets into politics like that. I'd be wearing a Bush shirt. I ain't never voted for Bush, but I get into politics. I would wear a Bush shirt, just because I get into politics. But these days, our politics has creeped into a violent space. And I'm not the one. I said, you know what? Can that idea. If I do get those t-shirts, I'll just be collecting them in the back and probably wouldn't really wear any. I don't even wear my Barack Obama t-shirts these days because he was an ex-president and Trump's always bringing him up, and there's people who feel a way about him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just ridiculous, that politics has went into this space to where it's just not even safe anymore. It's barely safe to talk about, let alone wear some type of political memorabilia on your body. So anyway, that was just a sidebar. Here's another thing. Let's get back to the Trump stuff. Trump is outperforming Biden in 6 battleground states. So what that means is these are 6 states that Trump lost last election that now he's outperforming Biden. People are losing their heads. Hair is on fire because of this information I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. But take it with a grain of salt, as I do, right? So 1 year out, Trump and Biden are neck and neck, they said. So now they said that there was a time when, when Biden was way up here, but then there's times when Trump maybe, now they're neck and neck. I don't know if Trump ever was beaten Biden. I think they did say in some states right now he's beating them, right? Which I just reported myself. In 6 battleground states, you know what I'm saying? Trump is coming out ahead of Biden. So people are kind of freaking out or whatever. A year out, they're neck and neck. Let me tell you something. And I'll save this in a minute here, but let me just deal with that right there. A year out, they're neck to neck. Who gives a DAMN? This is a family show. I want to keep it family. Who gives a DAMN about a year out? Ladies and gentlemen, that don't mean nothing. I promise you. A year away from the election might as well be a million years from the election. People don't feel the same from day to day, let alone from month to month, week to week, year to year. So this election don't mean nothing for a year from now. How about this? They could do this same election tomorrow. It would be different. Okay, they could do it a week from now. It'd be different. It doesn't mean anything, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how people feel in a year when they're going to the ballot box and casting their vote. We'll see what's going on then. Now, a lot of things right now that are going on are in Biden's favor. Like I said, the only minus he really has is his age. The economy is pretty good. Gas is good. Now, some of this is stuff the president doesn't even control. The president has absolutely nothing to do with gas prices. We've talked about that on this show. I've talked about it ad nauseum, so I'm not going to talk about it again. If you're mad about gas prices, you got to holler at speculators. But if you're happy about gas prices, which a lot of people are, you should still holler at the speculators and say, thank y'all for stop being so greedy. But really, a lot of people blame the president for gas when it's high, but he also gets the peas when it's good. Gas is low right now. I don't know about you, but I paid $3.06. And I've done that a couple of times when I went to fill up the tank in my truck. So there it is. I seen it for $3.03, was mad that I missed out on a 3-cent savings. But what is $3.03 when you got it for $3.06? Point being, Biden, he'll get the love from all of that because people, you know what I'm saying, they credit the president with high or low gas prices, whatever. So that is what it is. But a year out is nothing. Tides will change. I promise you, people won't feel the same way they're feeling now in a year. I promise you, Biden and Trump won't be neck to neck in a year. Now, in a year, somebody's going to be up. Will it be Trump? Will it be Biden? I pray it's Biden. But you never know, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I love politics. Hold your hats. You know what I'm saying? Strap in for the ride. Anyway, two things I want to talk about. I've heard about Trump gaining traction with black men and black youth. Now, black men, I understand why. Trump garners a lot of favor with foreign men. Why? They view him as strong, which I think is lame and pathetic. But there's a lot of men out there who don't know what it means to be a man. They think being a man is taking what you want. That's not being a man. They think being a man is plundering and pillaging and abusing and having all this bravado and just talking to people reckless and just, once again, like I said, just taking what you want. That's not a man. That ain't no type of man at all. That person's not a man. If you're displaying behavior like that, you are opposite of a man. You're something else. A word I'm not going to use on this show. But my point being, that's not a man. But you have a lot of men who unfortunately view that as strength. So when they see Trump doing all this misogynist, all this bombast, all this other garbage that guy gets into, they think that's being a man. Oh, he's a strong leader. We need a strong leader. Nah, that guy's a despicable idiot. You know what I'm saying? But y'all think he's a strong leader because he disrespects men and he disrespects his wife and he disrespects his kids. That's not a man. But you have a lot of foreigners. You have a lot of people, brown skin. You have a lot of people who look like me who believe that that's a show of strength. And they like Trump for that. So there's that. Then they said he was garnering love with the youth. Now, I think he's a lot of black youth. I think he's getting black youth because of some of the things that he's done on incarceration reform, right? And I talked about this earlier in the show. I was going to give Trump some credit. I have to now. Here it goes. The First Step Act, which you probably heard a lot about lately because it's one of the positive things that he did do. He didn't do a lot. He didn't do really anything but blow a hole in the deficit by giving his rich buddies a tax break. But he did do this. And I think he did this only to garner favor with black folk. Because and the more and more I think about it, Trump, is he racist? Is he not? Trump's an opportunist. Anything that helps Trump, he's on board with. Anything that helps Trump. Anything that helps Trump. So that means even though he might not love black people, he don't necessarily love or respect or care about black people. But if I can do something that makes them love, care, and respect me so I can get their vote, I'll do it in a heartbeat because it helps me. He's a true narcissist. Go look up narcissism, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you have a few in your life. I have some that I've cut out of my life, and I continue to cut out narcissists in my life. But there are narcissists everywhere. This guy Trump is a true narcissist. Me. Right? He is egocentric. If it don't help me, I ain't interested. So that's what's going on with that, right? So there's a First Step Act. And they said with that, and that act aimed to reform the federal prison system and reduce recidivism. If you don't know, recidivism is the rate at which these people come back to the jail. You know, they go out, get their freedom or whatever, and then they end up doing something coming back. So that's recidivism, right? So this looks to lower that. That's great things. Does that impact the black community? Huge. And then they were saying if you're one of these black people, I mean, Charlemagne the guy was saying this from the Power Morning Crew. On the radio, he was saying that if you're one of these people who, family member or loved one was brought home because of this, you remember Trump for that. You hold him in high regard because that was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of brothers and sisters who was able to get out the belly of the beast, prison, and come back home. Okay, there's that, right? And Kodak Black. If I'm not mistaken, Trump freed Kodak Black. He freed Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne got $1 million for that picture he took with Trump. I go on record on this show and I thought that was garbage, and I probably lambasted Lil Wayne for that. I ain't gonna lie. In retrospect, I'm like, why would he not do it? Because how about this? Shame on Trump and them for thinking that just because you take a picture with Lil Wayne, that gives you some type of love with the black community that you didn't have before. Now, there's a few Negroes out there who are turned on by that silliness. And you might have got their votes. You know what I'm saying? You might. And I did hear, oh my God, who was it? Was it the baby, not Lil Baby, but the baby saying that, yeah, Trump is my man. He free Kodak. He free Kodak Black. Okay, well, use an ignorant MFer. I'm sorry. Family show, I'm sorry. Use an ignorant MFer if you're going to give a guy your vote just because he free Kodak Black. That's stupid. That shows me that you're an extremely uninformed brother. And brother, holla at your boy so I can educate you on some things. But point being this, Trump would have did all that if he thinks it would lead to that. And with some of us, it probably has. Some of us, it probably has. So there probably are some young people who dig Trump now. Oh, the first step back, man. You help get some of these brothers and sisters, out of the joint, back to the crib. Blah, 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 blah. He probably got some votes for that. That's pretty lame and pretty pathetic. But it is what it is. It is positive legislation. It is positive legislation. Are there people locked up who shouldn't be there? Sure there are. Are there people who are wrongfully locked up? Sure there are. Is that going to stop? No. There is money in incarcerating people. If Trump wants to impress me by doing something for people in jail, make it harder for people to go to jail through trivial means. And then they sit there and rot while the federal government makes money off of them. In that school to prison pipeline that's going on right now in America with our youth, our black youth, our youth of color specifically. Do that, Trump, if you want some respect from me. But this first step thing, okay, that's fine. And some of the stuff that it aims to do is cool, but whatever. It would never get that guy my vote, but that's because I'm not a political lightweight. I know what's going on, and I know I'm very well aware of where Mr. Trump stands. So I would never give him my vote based on some of this garbage. But it is what it is. Vote your heart, vote your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, moving on. With the little bit of time I got left, because I am going to get into a few IPAs, or actually an IPA, and this other one I think is like a crisp cider or something like that. It's from the Cider Boys, so it's a cider. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute, but before I get to that, let's talk some pop culture. Pop culture. Drake about to do Michael Jackson numbers. People got all tight when they heard that. Are you trying to compare Drake to Michael Jackson? No. I love Drake. I love Michael Jackson. If you watch this show, you know I am a huge Michael Jackson fan. Always have been. When I was a kid, I had the red leather coat, with the spikes. I had the glove. My mom said I had the socks. I love Michael Jackson. I idolize Michael Jackson. I still do love Michael Jackson. When Kanye West said that stuff, talking about I'm gone, I really felt that, man, because I love Michael Jackson. His music's amazing. It fills any space. The brother was prophetic when he talked about, I'm talking about the man in the mirror. Take a look at yourself and make a change. Everybody knows how I feel about Michael Jackson, right? But now stripping the people, was talking about how, is Drake the new Michael Jackson? No, and even Drake would be like, no, I'm not the new Michael Jackson. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson's a legend. I'm just doing big things. And then they're tripping off the numbers. Here's what it is. He tied Michael Jackson's record for solo male artist with most number ones. So they had a list, I think, what was one of them? One of them, was the album that he's got out now, For All My Dogs and all that. And some of these other albums have been number ones. So he tied Michael Jackson for most number one hit albums in the 65-year history of Billboard. That's it. So there it is. And how about this? That's appropriate. That is called the progression of music. If we got people doing music, they have to break records that were set by other people. They were saying that SZA broke some record that was out, something about one of her singles had been number one for so long or whatever. I'm just, taking a deep dive or whatever. Of course, they were saying, I think number one hits. The record for that is by the Beatles, but I think Drake was number 2, Jay-Z was number 3, so, this is interesting stuff, but I'm like, people need to lay up off of that. Ain't nobody trying to take no steam away from Michael Jackson. And then when that first-person shooter, when Drake said that in the end, when he said, I'm about to do some Michael numbers, beat it, He is. He doing Michael numbers, you know what I'm saying? This some Michael Jackson type stuff. All these number one hit, number one chart topping songs he's had, or number one chart topping albums he's had. That's Michael Jackson-esque. I don't know who else you could compare it to. And like I said, I love Michael Jackson, but I like Drake too, and Drake is getting it in, man. He's got a lot of respect for me as an artist, and I like a lot of his music. So that is what it is, but that's a natural progression of music. These titles have to be broken. These records have to be broken, and they got to be broken by somebody. Why not have Michael Jackson a young brother, or at the time when he was making some of these records, a young brother. Why not have his record broke by another young brother named Drake? That's cool. Anyway, moving on. Now I want to talk about what a lot of people have been talking about. Andre 3000 releases a flute album. People was tripping off of that when they heard that. Now, number one, let's talk about Outkast, an amazing group. If you don't know nothing about Outkast, if you don't know nothing about Big Boy I or Daddy Fat Sax, if you don't know nothing about Southern Playalistic Funky Cadillac Music, if you don't know nothing about Him and I, Aquim and I, if you don't know if you don't know nothing about me and you, your cousin, what he said, your brother and your cousin too, riding down the strip on Vogues, coming up, slamming Cadillac. If you don't know about them boys, after this video, what you do is let your little fingers do the walking, and you can Google any of that I just said. You could Google Andre 3000. You could Google Big Boy I, B-O-I. You could Google Organized Noise. You can Google CeeLo. You can Google Goody Mob, because they come from them. Outkast is the bomb, always has been, always will be. Andre 3000, yes, he is one of our most prolific MCs. He has bars on top of bars on top of bars on top of bars. People always talk about their top five. He's always in most people's top five. Of my top five, he's in my top three. Come on, man. Andre 3000, that guy busts, and he usually has something poignant and profound to say. With that said, brother plays the flute. Plays it well. I didn't know how I was going to take this flute album. I love it. I didn't hear anything on it I didn't like. I like it a lot. There was some lady on the radio, and she was saying something about she's a bassist, and she's just got back into playing, the bass guitar. She said, I would never release a bass album right now because I'm still kind of like a novice to it. And that's what she was trying to say was going on with Andre. He was just getting back into the flute and then released a flute album. I don't know about that, sis. I disagree. This guy, once again, this is just another craft that he's a master of. This guy's a master of his craft when it comes to MCing. He's a master of his craft when it comes to fluting, because this flute album goes hard. I love it. I'll be playing it in the background while I'm at work because it's nice, soothing music. It kind of just fits any space, any time. Just kind of just soothing and relaxing and good. And then caveat. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? Here I am writing this or whatever. Talking to my woman, she looking at reels. She got a reel here where it's Metro Boomin talking about how Andre 3000 played the flute for Face, you know what I'm saying, for Mask Off. Are you serious? Mask Off. Man, that doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's Andre 3000. I'm done. First of all, I already thought the guy could walk on water. After hearing that, I'm team Andre 3000 for now to infinity, bro. Are you serious? I like that song, not because I necessarily like the lyrics, but that beat is that dude, and that flute is the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It makes the whole song, it makes the whole beat, and to think that was Andre 3000 on the flute, I had no idea. And how about this? I wouldn't even believe it if it wasn't Metro Boomin himself who played it and was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, Liz. He was like, okay. And then that's what it said. Metro Boomin says, Andre 3000 played the flute on Mask Off. I'm done. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then that blows me away, because when I think of flute and flute samples, the first person that comes to my mind is not Andre 3000, but obviously it was from Metro Boomin. He knows something we don't know. Music. That's why it's Metro Boomin. Bow, ladies and gentlemen. That's amazing. So with that said, if you ain't heard that Andre 3000 flute album, do yourself a favor and go check that out. And then check out all the other Outkast stuff. Here's another caveat. They got a song out, Dracula's Wedding. I think that's the best Halloween song I've ever heard in my life. One of the best songs, period, I've ever heard in my life. I think it's a nod to Parliament Funkadelic George Clinton. If you disagree, please let me know. If you agree, let me know. But that Dracula's Wedding by Outkast is amazing. I love that song. It's one of the best songs I've heard in a really, really long time, ladies and gentlemen. And I get into music way too tough. So anyway, with that said, this is my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music. This has been Urban Politics. Want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube. Like and subscribe. Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.